camp ahead of this one tomorrow?
Yeah, I think it's always a good game, and a game that everybody's eagerly anticipating. I think when Rangers come, and for obvious reasons, live on Sky, a full house, loads on it, and the importance for us in the context of the season, with 6 games to go before the split, we've got a set target that we feel would give us a chance of the top 6, and that's ultimately what we're working towards. Hopefully we can do that. Some fixtures are a bit more difficult to win than others, and this is obviously part of the reason of the league, and we know Rangers are a tough opponent. They've got some good players, but obviously been a bit inconsistent themselves. But we feel we're going to have to do a lot of what we did the last time out here when we beat them earlier on in the season. And that's a good reference for the players. We know it can be done. Equally, that day, our distances were good. We were competitive. I thought we had bags of confidence and personality in the game. And as opposed to when we played them at Ibrox, we were far too open, and we gave their better players too much scope to play. So it's a wee reminder and a reference for us what we need to be tomorrow night to get a result. But the majority of the players have played in winning teams against Rangers over the last few seasons. We've had decent results against them, so we're looking for another one tomorrow.
It's certainly a venue that any team will look at and not want to come here at times. What is it, Derek, that makes your side successful against, particularly the Old Firm, and makes it so difficult for them?
I do think that sometimes my job when you play Rangers and Celtic, because I've got a lot of boys who are scarred with certain results, and we've all been there when you play Rangers and Celtic. But ultimately, when you win a game, there's a reference, then you win another game, and you get a draw against them, and there's a lot of positives to take for it. I think there's just my job is just to reinforce the message of what can be done, and if we deliver a big performance, and it'll need to be a big performance, if we can deliver that type of performance, then I believe there's a game there to be won for us. And ultimately, I think we'll be tested tomorrow, we'll be stretched, we'll be when you play Rangers and Celtic a lot of times, your organisation, you've got more decisions to make in the game, but we'll try and set up in a way that gives us the best opportunity, and ultimately you still want your players to deliver big performances and take those moments when they come along. I remember the last time here, although we won the game late on 1-0, I felt the game was petering out at 0-0. We were just hoping for one more opportunity. I felt quite comfortable that we weren't going to lose a goal, but I wasn't convinced that we had another one in us, and thankfully we did, and it was the difference between 1 point and 3. You still need those big moments, people to stand up and take their chances, and hopefully we can have that tomorrow. And the team picked will hopefully reflect what we expect from ourselves from the game.
And it is impossible to avoid, isn't it? You referenced it yourself. There is another narrative to this game now with former teammate of yours in the opposition dugout. It's a fascinating storyline, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the context of it and the build-up has obviously changed from Rangers' perspective. I think first and foremost, I'm always disappointed. I know managers say it all the time. I'm always disappointed when a manager loses his job, and I think I've got to make reference to Philippe leaving. It goes without saying it was challenging for him at times, but I do think throughout it all, and it's a reminder as always managers when things not goes perfect for you, that I thought he handled so much with class and dignity about him, and and obviously it's sorry to see him lose his job. But with that, obviously Barry comes in with his team, and they're all boys that I know well. I've played, shared dressing rooms with them, and I'm sure Barry will be trying to instill what he believes should be there in a Rangers team, what a Rangers team should look like, and great opportunity for Barry, of course.
Just finally from me, obviously you referenced that you know that group well. Does that impact on how you prepare for a game at this time? How they prepare for it?
No idea. I mean, it's like any time you come up against a team who have just changed their manager, whether it's an interim manager as it is with Barry now, or whether a manager changes, you can maybe sometimes have some sort of reference of what their preferred system is, where they come from. So your kind of preparation's still there. You analyse previous Rangers games, but I think it becomes a bit more difficult to predict in terms of what they're going to get. And obviously the lads are only in for 1 day's training, I think, ahead of the game. But I think for me, what Barry will bring, he was a hugely talented player. Barry was always that when he first came through at Rangers. We're all aware of his talent, but talent only doesn't he just get the job done at a club like Rangers, and for me he was a fierce competitor, and you need to be fiercely competitive to succeed at Rangers, and he showed that with his talent. how good a player he was and he had in his career. And I think that what he'll try and do, and the lads will try and do, is just try and instill a bit of confidence through that competitive nature, I would imagine. But that's their job. My job's to try and make sure we are equally as competitive and see the opportunity that's there in front of us. And hopefully, as I say, we can be as good as we have been in previous seasons against Rangers here and get a win.
In terms of that opportunity, Derek, arguably Rangers side low in confidence, you don't necessarily come up against the Old Firm in this scenario when they are kind of down a wee bit. Can you use that as an advantage, especially at home, and kind of get at them?
Yeah, I think you normally get, rightly or wrongly, you look at dressing rooms over the years that when a new manager comes in, a different voice, there's normally some sort of spike and some sort of upturn and fortune. That's not to say that the previous manager was doing it wrong or whatever. It's just maybe sometimes players who weren't playing, or maybe players who didn't see there was an opportunity, might all of a sudden think, I've got a chance of getting back in here. And I think it goes without saying, but sometimes a different voice can deliver, motivate players a wee bit more sometimes, that's just the way it is. So although Rangers have been a bit inconsistent, they've also shown when they've been on song that they're capable. So there's no doubt there's some good players in that Rangers team, and we've just got to try and hope that they don't show that tomorrow. That's partly on them, but partly for us as well, to make sure that we try and make sure that we make it a difficult evening for them. And I think at the very least that's what the Rangers team would probably expect from us, and we hope that is the case.
In terms of yourself, has to change from the weekend if you were to go and get a result tomorrow?
Say that again, sorry.
What kind of has to change from Pittodrie in terms of your own team, your own performance?
I thought we were. I wasn't really too disappointed with the performance. We were going away to Aberdeen 0-0, wouldn't have been the worst result. Obviously we were up there to try and win the game, and we had more moments to win the game, but it looked as if it was a very tight match. We spoke at half time about the importance of getting that goal. It felt like a 1-0 game. And we did so much right in the game, but we never defended the last part, the 92nd minute, a corner. I think they get a wee bit of fortune with it, to be honest, and they're good enough to punish us. But I'm not really getting too hung up on it, because the performance was actually kind of another carry on from where we've been of late. I think we've been not losing too many goals. We've been pretty rigid, and we've been pretty kind of consistent with our level of performance. And we move on for it quickly. Losing at Aberdeen, it isn't the biggest surprise, but I thought the game we more than deserved a point from the game, but we didn't, and now we need to move on quickly to this one.
When you've got a dressing room full of players who have beaten Rangers and Celtic so many times, I know it's quite an obvious statement, but just to what benefit is that when you go into a match full of belief that either of this can be done?
I think it is, because the flip side of that, when if you're consistently not winning games against them, it's hard. As my job is sometimes in these games as a sales. It's my job and the staff's job to get us set up in a way that gives us the best chance, and we'll try and do that tomorrow. But equally, the mental part of the game, players have to have that belief and personality and courage in the game, and hopefully we can show that. And I think once you've had a few results, there is that reference for the players themselves rather than having to be convinced of that.
It's another day to say that your name's been brought up in yet again. Is that an easy thing to just dispel right now, especially when it's so busy at the moment and your name's constantly being circled around?
My job here is here at Kilmarnock. It's my job to look after this club, and I feel as though I've done that since I came here. We've done some good work here, but our intention is to get to the top six. That's my only concern.
2 home games, like the 2 previous home games, obviously 2 wins on the bounce and stretching back to Motherwell, good performances. How important is it to maximise your home form and run into the split?
Well, it is. I think it's important in the sense that the 3 home games, Rangers, Hibs and Motherwell, different challenges of course, but we want to make sure that each game we play has a bit more importance on it, and there's something on it. To keep us in the hunt for top 6, we're going to have to get some positive results, home and away. So we can't just be dependent on our home form. And it's been a big part of winning a title. It's a big part in staying up, big part in winning, qualifying for Europe last year. But also getting important and key results on the road was also part of that. And I still feel that we're going to have to deliver big performances on the road as well. But hopefully, with 6 games to go, we can maximise. What you said is the last couple of home games, couple of wins, we've been pretty strong in terms of performance in the last wee while here, and hopefully that helps us overcome Rangers.
And is there any team news heading into tomorrow night?
Killie McInnes is back. We were hoping when I spoke to you guys last week, Kyle had got all clear from the scan, and we were hoping that he would be fit. But on Friday, he just felt a little tiny wee bit more discomfort. And we took the decision not to travel to Aberdeen on the back of that. But with the intention of being fit for this one. So he's back fit. Kyle Vassell's back doing running with Stuart Finlay. This game will come clearly too quick for Kyle, and Stuart's still a bit away. But hopefully get some good news on those two in the next couple of weeks.
Kyle McInnes, they must be itching to get back.
Aye, he's done well. I think he's been a part of our upturning performances, to be honest. I think, and I said, like, the January window wasn't quite opened when Kyle came back fit, and it felt like a new signing. So we're obviously careful with him. Obviously, it's hamstring trouble he's had. This was a knee issue, and the scan was clear, so we weren't overly concerned about it. But great to have him available, of course. All right.
Cheers, Bill.
That is. Yep. Cheers.